Dear students, in this example, it's given that to write two basic modes of communication, and the second part is explain the process of amplitude modulation and draw a schematic sketch showing how amplitude modulated signal is obtained by superposing a modulating signal over a sinusoidal carrier wave. So in the question indirectly they have told the process also how we have to draw the amplitude modulation waves. But before that, let's do the first question. The first question says two basic modes of communication. So first let's write this: two basic modes of communication. Now the two basic modes are very simple, and with example I think so better would not be just to state them, but state them with example. One is point to point. Now this can be like a phone call. Now this is a good example of a point to point communication. You have the person talking to another from one point to another point. Another can be a broadcast. Now for example, one person is speaking, or one song is playing on the radio and the whole city is listening to it, so that is something like a broadcast. Television and all these things are broadcasts. So these are two basic examples, like a radio broadcast or television. So these are two basic modes of communication. And now let's explain the process of amplitude modulation. Now this is the second part. Before we start the second part, first let's understand what is amplitude modulation. Now basically it is also written as AM. Like in radio we have AM and FM, amplitude modulation and frequency modulation. So it is defined as in amplitude modulation we can say the amplitude of the modulated signal is varied in accordance with the amplitude of the modulating signal. Now modulated signal and modulating signal are two different things. So the frequency of the modulated wave is equal to the frequency of the carrier wave. Now this definition you can easily understand in the animation here. Like this is what is amplitude modulation. Amplitude modulation, and what you see below it is frequency modulation. We see that the amplitude is changing with time, and here the frequency is changing, amplitude is constant. So here you see the waves amplitude is changing. So the process of amplitude modulation, we will see it here in this diagram. This is the diagram that we have to draw. This is a very simple diagram in which we can easily say that this is what? This is an unmodulated sinusoidal, because it's a sine function, so you can write sinusoidal carrier wave. This is the carrier wave. And what is this? This is a signal that modulates. This is the modulating signal. This is the modulating signal. Now this modulating signal acts as an envelope in the modulated signal. Now see, this is the modulated carrier wave, and this envelope around it we see is due to the modulating signal. So we can say that this is the process of amplitude modulation. So we can say that this is the modulated, it has been modulated carrier wave. So this was the carrier wave and this was the modulating signal. Now modulating signal, when both of them combined, it formed a modulated carrier wave, and this envelope, this is the envelope of the modulated carrier wave. So this was the process of amplitude modulation. It's more important to understand it practically then putting it into words. So anytime we are asked about amplitude modulation, this is the easiest thing to picturize and sketch it for any answer. So it's always better to give a diagram than a definition, and then definition can obviously follow. We can explain the diagram in the same. So very good question, and this is the answer to the question.